to get down to business? Join seasoned entrepreneur, community leader, and Army veteran Scott Shalom Klein, who will take you behind the scenes with those who work in America's small business scene and speak with leaders making an impact, creating jobs, and telling their story in entrepreneurship. So let's get down to business. On AM 560, The Answer, here's your host, Shalom Klein.
And indeed, we're all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship and business. We talk all about small business here. Super excited to kick off another week, another program. As always, you get on my website, syklein.com. Or, of course, go on your favorite podcast app, subscribe, rate, review, and share so you don't miss a single episode. Joining us today is an extraordinary entrepreneur whose career is beautifully entwined with the history and economic rise of the Cayman Islands. Martyn Bould arrived in the Caribbean in 1969 as a newly minted surveyor and construction cost consultant. Over the past 50 years, he didn't just witness history, he literally helped build it, laying the groundwork for massive economic development while serving as a founding member of both the Cayman Natural Cultural Foundation and the National Gallery. In 2012, he was honored by Queen Elizabeth II for his services to Caymanian culture, and he was recently recognized by the Cayman Islands government as a legacy builder. He's the author of the new memoir, More Than Just the Climb, Life's Lessons Well Learned. He's here to share how professional risks shape character and what literal and figurative mountains can teach business leaders about success. Welcome to the show, Martyn.
Thanks. I'm delighted to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
It is an honor. You arrived in Cayman when it was a small island of just 10,000 people and helped guide its evolution into a major multicultural financial center. When you look back at those early foundational years of transformation, what core values guided your decisions when there was no existing blueprint for the island scale?
I think very early in my life, my parents taught me that a job was if it was worth doing, it's worth doing well. And both in my professional life in construction and development and my voluntary work in culture and heritage and its development and preservation, I've tried to ensure I carried out my role to the very best of my ability. Always key to me was ensuring I surrounded myself with the very best advisors I could find.
That's amazing. And that's a lesson for any entrepreneur that's tuning in. And indeed, entrepreneurship is frequently romanticized in today's media. What was the real emotional terrain, the quiet personal battles and turning points that you had to navigate while bootstrapping your career in the Caribbean?
I think seeing opportunities, analyzing and manage the risks in any venture, steering a steady course even when all others doubt you, and having the courage to admit when you're wrong and learning from it are key important factors.
That's great advice. Absolutely. And you were honored. I loved this factoid. You were honored by Queen Elizabeth II for preserving the heritage and developing its culture of the island. Why do so many fast-growing business leaders forget to preserve their organization's roots while chasing economic expansion? And what do they lose when they ignore their heritage?
I think you lose your character. It's a key component, particularly when you live in a small island like the Cayman Islands. It's absolutely key that we preserve our heritage. We understand, to me, heritage is where you came from. Our culture, of course, changes every day. But I think the roots and the background, the things that made small island communities succeed like Cayman, it's important to remember that heritage and also develop the culture. And that's one of the things, in addition to my construction work, I've been very much involved in preserving culture, which in turn creates social stability.
We often talk about stewardship of values on the show. Associates and senior members of society frequently praise you, Martyn, for your unwavering integrity and devotion to service. What internal code have you lived by to stay steady when leadership demanded difficult or unpopular choices?
Well, I'm firstly both humbled and honored to be considered the son of the soil in Cayman Islands because I wasn't born here. And Cayman has been very good to me in my home and is my home. So anything I can do within my gift to make society a better place for all, I will do. Given the extensive mix of both people that are born here and those that come to work and visit, attempting to ensure harmony amongst all is a key ingredient towards happiness and the quality of life.
That's great. Fantastic. One of your greatest strengths is your ability to remember, connect, and maintain relationships across decades. Again, I just mentioned in the show intro, just you came to the Caribbean in 1969, and it's been 50 years that you've been, again, building these relationships. What has a deep commitment to community given your business that maybe that raw ambition alone never could deliver?
I think the depth of the journey through life requires intimate interaction with all fellow human beings. And asking and remembering their names, however brief the encounter, is, in my mind, essential.
Well, that's great. Once again, I'm chatting with the incredible Martyn Bould, who again arrived in Cayman Islands and literally wrote the book. It's called More Than Just the Climb: Life's Lessons Well Learned. He's been recognized so many accolades, but again, arrived in the Caribbean in 1969 as a newly minted surveyor and construction cost consultant, received honors from Queen Elizabeth II and many, many, many organizations, far too numerous to list over here. But Martyn, you've crossed continents, you've explored 120 countries, and engaged heavily in philanthropy. What did global travel teach you about human nature and partnership that staying in a comfortable corporate office never could?
I think the fact that you see the different communities, the different cultures, the principles by which people live by, make it a very learning and deep experience. And you have to look after each other's needs before your own. Being of a similar age to my wife and the travel we've done together, and recognizing the unique qualities we each brought to our relationship has really helped me in my career and kept me being a very happy guy indeed.
That's beautiful. In your 70s, you tackled some of the world's most daunting peaks. I'd love to hear a little bit more about that. What did those literal mountains reveal about your internal limits that 5 decades of intense business negotiations haven't yet shown you? I believe it was Kilimanjaro and maybe a couple of others. Tell us a little bit more.
Well, I think the great thing about climbing Kilimanjaro, Aconcagua, people find quite difficult to say, but it's the tallest mountain outside of Asia. But what it really teaches you is you need to go and train for several months before, and that discipline really helps. And the mountains are really, there's always a bigger and more difficult challenge that we face in life for our literal mountains that we have to climb. And so I think that's really important. Looking after your health, remaining physically and mentally fit are absolutely key to being happy and feeling life has true meaning.
Beautiful. Finally, your memoir is titled More Than Just the Climb. For the entrepreneur or leader listening today who's standing at the absolute bottom of their own mountain, feeling completely overwhelmed or forced to start again, what's the first step that they need to take to master the climb?
I think the key thing in mastering the climb is that you always put one step in front of the other. And, you climb many of these mountains at night so that you reach the summit at daybreak. And the wind is blowing, it's cold and it's dark. But the key thing is, and you sometimes say to yourself, I'm not sure what the hell I'm doing here. Why am I doing this in the middle of the night? And then you say, I'm doing it because I'm raising money for the Red Cross, which I do. And so that tends to keep you going. And it's the same with life's challenges. You just need to keep putting one foot in front of the other and keep climbing, even though people might doubt you, people may challenge you. But, it's more than just the climb. And that's hence the reason for the title of my book.
Yeah. Well, Martyn, we've talked a lot about this book, and I want to give the final word to you, my friend. How can people find this book? How can people learn more about your important work? How can they stay in touch?
Well, stay in touch. You can buy the book on Amazon. It's readily available. And you'll see some very humbling accolades that are on there. So please buy the book and read it. And if you learn from it, I'd be absolutely delighted.
Amazing. Well, Martyn Bould, thank you so much for the beautiful lessons learned here in More Than Just the Climb. We will link in the show notes, make it easy for our listeners to find the book, and it is a must read from just truly incredible experiences. Once again, in the show notes, which are always available on my website at syklein.com, and of course, on your favorite podcast app. Just search for Get Down to Business. Make sure you subscribe, rate, review, and share. Be sure to check out the past 13 plus years. It humbles me to say that 13 plus years of shows all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. We have an incredible lineup still on the air. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back.